Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special late night edition here at BC Wrestle Pod. My name is Mikey. I am El Jefe, or the boss of BC Wrestle Pod, and I'm doing something a little bit different. So normally, we here at BC Wrestle Pod don't cover Evolve on a weekly basis. I mean, I do the report cards for the social medias as I wanted to give Evolve a chance. But I am here to, give my perspective and, break down what went down at Evolve's first special WWE EVOLVE Succession. So, before I get into everything, if you like what you see here, make sure to check out our YouTube channel or follow us on Twitch or Kick. You can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. But more importantly, well, not more importantly, but we also have some merchandise at bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com. So check out the links in the description and our social medias and everything to get access to all the fun stuff of where you can follow us. Now, I am going to be breaking down in this short review WWE EVOLVE Succession. And for me, this was a kind of show that's supposed to highlight the future of WWE, with the ID prospects, the workhorses, the one trying to earn the right moment under the performance center lights. But it's really hard to talk about this show because it's tricky that this aired during probably one of the roughest of weeks for Evolve in recent Evolve memory. We're seeing dozens of WWE ID talents either being quietly released or simply not being renewed. So even as we celebrate the next generation stepping up, we can't ignore how many doors just closed this week. And it's really hard, but I'm going to do my best to kind of address the duality that was Succession, which is the excitement and the uncertainty which hung over Succession like a cloud. But before I get into all the action, if you are unfamiliar with WWE Evolve, Evolve is meant to be the in-between ground between NXT and the Indies, a brand for a talent that can prove they can tell a story, work the cameras, and hold a crowd. This particular event, Succession, was taped from the Performance Center, and while the crowd wasn't huge, they were engaged. The lighting's gotten better, commentary feels tighter, and the pacing was smoother than the previous tapings that we've seen. But that's what makes this all bittersweet, because while the brand is improving, the foundation underneath it feels like it's cracking. And I'm going to get into more of that a little bit later, but let's break down all the matches that happened. So if you have not checked out the report card for WWE EVOLVE Succession, I ended up giving it a B, and I'm going to break it down match by match to let you know what worked, what didn't, and just my overall thoughts. So first, we're going to talk about match 1, which was for the WWE EVOLVE Men's Championship. This was the champion, Jackson Drake, defending the title against challenger Bryce Donovan. So again, let's start with the opener, Jackson Drake defending his title against Bryce Donovan. Now, for me, on paper, this was a great choice to start out the night. Drake has this confident, almost smug champion swagger, and Donovan, while being a part of Vanity Project, he's technically the underdog with the chip on his shoulder in this one. And this brings a good contrast between the two. The early lockups were crisp for me. Drake worked the arm early, slowing things down, while Donovan tried to quicken the pace with drop kicks and shoulder tackles. And there was even a nice spot where Donovan hit a running lariat into a blue thunder bomb that got a solid 2 count. And the crowd actually came alive for that one. But I noticed that as the match went on, Drake's control sequences started to kind of drag a little bit. And it was clear that he's comfortable being the base here in this match, but he needs to add a variety to his heat segments. Too many rest holds and not enough transition work. And the finishing stress was clean, though. I'm not going to lie. Drake countered a Donovan powerbomb attempt into a cutter, but then transitioned right into a sit-out slam for the win. So ultimately, here's what worked for me in this match. Drake looked strong and composed as a champion. His timing and selling are definitely improving, but what didn't work for me is that the emotional connection just wasn't there. Donovan's offense was fire, but the crowd didn't believe he could win. And it's hard to get invested when, in real time, you already know he's been let go from WWE ID. And unfortunately, that's the harsh reality here. Watching someone work their heart out in what ends up being their swan song is kind of sad. But that was the first match. I thought it was still a lot of fun. And we move on to our backstage segment where it was short but important. Big John shows up to talk to Stevie Turner, who unfortunately has also been released from WWE EVOLVE ID, all that good stuff, which is unfortunate. But Big Josh shows up to talk to Stevie Turner, teasing that he's going to be the guest GM next week. And I think this is solid character building. Jaw plays an authority figure with personality, almost a mix of old school GM confidence and YouTube host energy. Stevie Turner, though, it sucks that she's been released, and I feel like she's always been criminally underutilized. She's got the charisma, she's got the mic skills, she's got the presence, but unfortunately, she's always been stuck in the background roles, and hopefully whatever her career leads to next for her will be something more for her. But interesting to see how Big Jaw plays into all of this. We get into match 2, which is a bull rope match. This is Tate Wilder versus Brooke Jensen. This one was surprisingly intense. I'm not going to lie. A bull rope match isn't your typical developmental showcase, but it worked because both guys leaned into the gimmick. From the bell, they treated it like a fight. Jensen took control early with body blows and used the rope to drag Wilder around ringside. There was a cool moment where Wilder tucked a clothesline and yanked the rope hard enough to send Jensen over the top rope, which I think is a good use of the stip. Midway through, Wilder started bleeding from the mouth after a nasty boot, which added some realism. They traded cowbell shots. Maybe too many, but the crowd loved it, and I kind of did too. The finish saw Wilder hit a rope-assisted knee strike into his spinning lariat for the win. What worked for me in this match was the physicality. Wilder's selling felt legit, and Jensen's offense was weight behind it. What didn't work was the pacing. They milked some spots too long, and the bull rope isn't forgiving. When the energy dips, it really dips. Still, this was a standout match for Wilder. He's got something, that rough cut intensity you can't fake. If Evolve lets him keep, evolving, he could become the brand's next breakout. Then we get another segment. This time we have Super Sean Legacy coming out. And I really like this one, or at least backstage it came out. He cut this clean cut babyface appeal, not forced, not corny, just genuine. He called out Idris Enofe for a future match, showcasing confidence without arrogance. Then Big Jaw announced that he will be the guest GM next week, adding a little storyline continuity. It's small stuff like this that makes Evolve feel more serialized, less like a string of exhibition matches. Which then leads us into our main event, the WWE EVOLVE Women's Championship. Kendall Gray, the challenger, taking on Callie Armstrong, the champion. And again, we made it to the main event, and for me, this is easily the best match of the night. Kendall Gray versus Callie Armstrong for the Women's Championship. Armstrong came in looking confident, maybe a little too confident, cutting a promo before the bell about being the face of Evolve. Gray interrupted, and we went straight into the action. Early on, Armstrong dominated with stiff forearms and a strong knee strike combo in the corner. Gray sold beautifully, bumping hard, but keeping composure. Midway through, Gray turned it around with the suplex flurry and an impressive springboard drop kick that connected clean, might I add. The crowd started to buy in at this point, and the final stretch was excellent. By far the best part of the match and best part of the night. Armstrong went for the finisher, the Callie connection, but Gray countered with a crucifix pin attempt, rolled through, and nailed the spinning fisherman's neck breaker for the win, which is a surprise pin roll-up. Here's what worked. The chemistry. This felt like two women trying to earn the spotlight, not just perform for it. Gray's emotion after the bell felt raw, real, and made the title change matter. What didn't is that the production didn't fully capture the impact of the moment. No post-match promo, no confetti, nothing to sell the weight of history. This was the first women's title change in Evolve history. It deserved more ceremony. Still, it capped the show perfectly. Gray's win gives Evolve a new star to rally behind. But this, unfortunately, is where I have to pull back the curtain a little bit, because while Kendall Gray's win should be the headline, the real story is what's happening outside of the ring. Within days of the show airing, before, during, and after, names like Bryce Donovan, Zeta Steele, Kylie Ray, shout out who gonna be a mom, and even NXT's Rich Holland confirmed that they're out, contracts expired, or simply not being renewed. It's the latest way in what feels like a massive developmental purge. And when you pair that with Evolve trying to build long-term stories, you get a disconnect. Evolve is being built on shifting sand. Every time a performer gains momentum, they're gone before the footage even finishes airing. It makes it hard for fans to invest and for wrestlers to build consistency. I mean, from a business perspective, WWE seems to be operating with a much shorter leash when it comes to Evolve and ID talent. If you're not TV ready within 6 to 12 months, they're moving on, but developmental doesn't work like that, in my opinion. Growth takes time, characters need to breathe, and my friend of mine put this perfectly. The microwavable slash fast food version for new talent from athlete to, fed pipeline, these things take time. You can't just expect everyone to be ready in 12 months or even less than that. And then you're just going to let them go. That's kind of crazy to me. So, unfortunately, unless Evolve decides to kind of shift their business model, I don't think it's going to help trying to get more people to watch Evolve. But I mean, I'm enjoying it. I just wish I didn't get invested in people, and then we'll come to find out that we still got more matches of them on tape, but they're gone from Evolve. So what's the point of me getting connected with them? So, but overall, I'm giving Evolve Succession a B. The matches were solid, not groundbreaking, but better structured than past tapings. Kendall Gray's title win for sure is a genuine highlight. Drake continues to look the part of the champion, and Wilder impressed me more than expected in this match. Production's improving, but the atmosphere still needs a spark, the sense of unpredictability that makes fans care. But most importantly, if WWE wants this Evolve and ID system to actually evolve, they've got to start letting these talents grow roots before cutting them loose. Otherwise, Succession stops being a theme and it starts feeling like a warning. But that's my take. What did you all think? Was I too generous with the B? Drop your grades in the chat. Let's talk about it. And to every released or unsigned talent, your story's not over. Wrestling's bigger than any one brand. This is Mikey of BC WrestlePod. Thank you for tuning in to a really quick live stream for EVOLVE Succession. I will be here tomorrow evening with the TNA crew as we review TNA Bound for Glory. And then we wrap up the week on Sunday with our WWE review where we're covering Raw and SmackDown and anything else in between that you care about WWE. We got a packed week this weekend. Stay tuned for all that. And also, we got a lot of stuff coming up this week as well. So stay tuned for more information on that. But until then, this is going to be it for the evening. This is Mikey of BC WrestlePod signing off for the evening. And as always here, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. I will see you tomorrow for the Bound for Glory review. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time,